Alright, fine. Let's go to Fantasy World.
We've arrived at your destination.
Oops. I left the audio running. Yeah. So I'm watching my friend Mike Pacific 414 right now. Well, I was watching it on my TV. That's what we're going to do. We're going to play it on my TV so it doesn't interfere with the game audio. There we go. So anyway, a little bit of an impromptu stream. I wanted to do some, something in the middle of the week, something other than the Monday show, because, Mondays are so dreary. So we're going to do a little bit of, like the title says, some astronomy. We're gonna sample some games in a moment, or during that time. Whatever I can do before dinner. Right now, I'm just making some adjustments to my audio. And apparently we have a helicopter coming in for some tea. We also might have some other things to, demonstrate today, but one thing at a time. So number one thing I was doing was, before I started this stream, was making some adjustments to my monitor, because in the past few days I was testing out some games using the 180 hertz mode. Apparently my 200 hertz monitor is actually a 180 hertz monitor, which I'm entirely fine with. In fact, all I ever wanted to know when I bought this monitor was the true response time. What up, Caleb? Good to see you. There we go. I'm just tweaking some settings here before I get into the astronomy and gaming. But yeah, like, all I wanted to know was, what's the real response time? Because I knew my monitor wasn't really 200 hertz. It's pretty common they do that. So you see here, we got this little app here. It's basically like a little control panel for the monitor. And this is, an app that runs to the USB ports so that you don't have to physically play with the little buttons or the joystick on the back of the monitor. You got some profiles in here. Depending on what settings you use, you're either going to sacrifice the response time or the contrast, or you lose the ability to control the brightness in, like certain modes. So I think if I go into fast mode, one of these modes will prevent me from getting access to certain settings. So it's like, I don't really even know sometimes, like response time or, refresh rate. But essentially, the thing that I think matters is, the refresh rate. So, for example, we have up here, it says 200 hertz. Apparently, if I click that button, it'll automatically go to the maximum setting. But the other thing I can do is go into the Windows settings and tell it over in advanced settings. Right here, see, it's at 1. I thought I made it 60. All right, okay, let's hope this doesn't break OBS. What up, Disney Sheepherder? How you doing, bro? I should have done this on Livestream so I could have people jump in. Then again, I'd be here all day if I did that. Nah, I'm joking. But you know how it is. It's a madhouse out there. Yeah, right? Okay, so now we got the 60 hertz locked in. Let's go and open up a remote access. So we're going to use, how do we want to log in today? Do we want to use Parsec or Windows Remote Desktop Connection? I really don't even know. See, this is Windows Remote Desktop. And you can run this in full screen mode, but I'm on an ultra widescreen monitor, so that might not, really be helpful for most of our purposes. But it is nice. Let's try it out like that. So in ultra widescreen mode, the only caveat is I have to zoom out like this. So you see I have all this extra space on the right, which can be really nice sometimes. But I think we're going to go and do it in not in that mode. The only problem is I don't even think it'll be like 1920 by 1080, but when you go into full screen mode, what's going to happen is it's going to look like this. Well, that's kind of lame. It's really not that cool. Okay, there we go. So now I can zoom in on the middle like that. And even though I'm not using all of my screen real estate, I'm using a normal screen resolution, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. So first thing I'm noticing is it's a little unresponsive here. And that could be because of a couple of factors, but obviously I'm not going to tolerate that. So I think for now, we're going to switch to another remote desktop app. This is literally why I run 3 different applications for logging into that computer remotely. I figure, like, you know, one way or another, you're going to find one that does the job, right? There we go. So now I'm going to log in. And I'm in. So now, interestingly, if you look here now, you see the picture has a different pattern. So we basically have a film grain pattern, but every application's respective compression codecs are going to handle it differently. So, you know, right now using NVIDIA encoder, we told it to prefer the 265 encoder. We're running at 1080p, and Windows don't allow remote connection, correct? Yeah, well, I got it to work, but only because I'm using a Pro edition of Windows 10. So I bought like a product key for Windows 10. I paid like $10 for Windows 10 product key for the Pro edition, and so you get like RDP that is comparable to you know, to whatchamacallit, Windows server basically. So first thing we got to do is get the manual focus dialed in. So I'm pressing some numbers here that I'm blocking with my head, and this star should get smaller when I crank it back, and it did it. And it looks like I might have overshot the mark. So we just want to get this here to be like as small as we can get it. Whoops, I dialed in the wrong setting, I think. And so what we sometimes do is we might overshoot the mark and swing in. Yeah, no doubt, bro. I appreciate that. Lurking, non-lurking, semi-lurking, it's all good. Oh yeah, so I got an old pocket PC to work. So this is a Cassiopeia E115, and I have the E100. I'm sorry, the E15 is the one that was you know, that is like half the thickness, and it has a black and white screen, whereas this one here has a color screen on it, and a pretty dim screen at that. And so I have to now click on these little crosses here. Now, I don't think I have the battery charger for this yet. I got to go through my AC adapters and see if I have a compatible charger. I'm hoping I ordered a compatible charger already, because I want to, know it's already on the way. But right now, I'm literally running on whatever battery power is inside of this. So whatever the battery that I ordered for it, it's running on whatever fumes or whatever, preliminary charge it has. And so it's telling me I got to replace the backup battery, which is fine. The backup battery is just a watch battery, basically. But this device, I think, is going to be pretty promising because it's got a modern CPU. It's got a fair bit of memory for, its age. This one's packing 32 megs of total memory, I think. Yeah. So you split it between storage and RAM. I could put a compact flash card in there, and most likely I could put a compact flash to SD card adapter in there, because I already did it on the older model of this device. Now, what was said was I picked up this one here. This is like the best PDA, best Windows mobile device ever made. Well, not really ever made, but like the best pre-smartphone device. And this device, I got it to work when I plug in, and I could charge it over USB. You see, it's got a very nice screen. It's got built-in Wi-Fi, but don't let that fool you. It's 802.11b and maybe G. So it's got 802.11g. and it doesn't support WPA2, so I can't even connect it to my current Wi-Fi unless I blast out an additional access point. It's got this cool little touchpad here, though. You could even put it into a mouse pointer mode. But one of the weird things was when I put all of the screws into the corners, you see there's missing screws? If I put all of the screws in, the touch screen stops working. Like, it'll literally just jump all over the place or not work. So that was disappointment number one. Number two, the second and bigger disappointment to me was, in fact, this is a huge disappointment. We got both a SD card and a compact flash slot. And many years ago, I had a device where I had to put a backpack on in order to get a memory card on it. I love how I changed the topic of the stream. Here's the original device. So here's the E15. So I didn't even mean to do a PDA review, but I just seen there's the thickness difference right there. You can see, and this one runs on AAA batteries. It's got a black and white screen on it. Look, we could even see, it got Punk Waddle on the screen. It's warning me about, okay, it's just warning me about the memory card. That's okay, we can click yes. So there we go. And what was interesting was this device worked with all kinds of memory cards. It worked with memory cards that were higher capacity than what it should support. It worked with the SD card adapter memory card, so I was able to put SD cards into the CF slot. Obviously, there were limitations. I would have to partition it and do different things, but it worked. The HP device here, this thing was hella picky. It only worked with a 2 gig card so far. And when I went to put a 16 gig SD card in here, it totally did not acknowledge the existence of the card. So, I think I got some memory cards in my bed I gotta get. But I bought some low capacity SD cards from my 3D printer. Took them away from my 3D printer to test them out in this device. But I am hella disappointed with this device so far because, I mean, like, this device has great potential. It has SD card and compact flash memory in it. It's thinner than the next comparable device. It's got a very good screen. I mean, this is like, you know, basically like the last good PDA before smartphones became relevant. And if I can't, you know, put high capacity cards in it, that's a huge disappointment. On the positive side, this device has a removable battery. That's a big deal because this device does not. So, and here's an example of an HP iPack with expansion pack. So this is what I used to use as a daily driver many years ago. And so you got infrared port on the top. You got your pen up here. You got the naked device with its own internal battery, which I'm going to take apart later on to investigate because the battery isn't currently charging, but I believe I can revive it. And then you have this external expansion pack. Now, I used to have one that took compact flash memory. Unfortunately, I couldn't find that version on eBay for cheap, so I ended up buying the one that takes the big card for the laptop. These are the PCMCIA cards, but this gives you more potential. Like, in theory, maybe you could put better Wi-Fi cards in here or something, but most likely, I'm just going to use it for compact flash memory cards. Then I'll put my SD cards up here, which is exactly how I used to operate it. I used to, you know, have an external battery and an external memory card slot, and this thing made a really nice MP3 CD player, video player. At this point, this will be like doing that type of job once I get a working charger, because, you know, during a hurricane or a storm, you never know. You might need a device that does the things, right? And then somewhere here, like I said, we have the black and white device, which has been the biggest challenge to get movies to play on, but actually it's been more cooperative than the HP device I showed you a moment ago. That HP device that that is supposed to be the pinnacle of personal digital assistant devices is actually the one that is the problem child right now, you know? So anyway, let's get to some astrometrics now for real, because I mean, I was supposed to, I get easily sidetracked when something becomes challenging, right? By the way, this is pretty cool. See this drawing tablet? I can use my drawing tablet There we go. I can use my drawing tablet to put Steam on. So like right now, I literally have the Steam window right here. I don't know, I just found it to be super duper handy, like, you know, so I could like pick my games out and then play them on my big boy screen up here. Uh-oh. I didn't put the pen back inside the device. You gotta always be careful. You can't not put the pen back in. Otherwise, you have to, you know, improvise. All right, focus. Quite literally, I have to focus right now. So, let's do this. I was really lethargic and tired like an hour ago, and I was like, I gotta do something. So that's why, you know, we're here. Well, it's not the only reason I was planning on streaming. See, we almost got it, but it's so easy to overshoot the mark. All right, we're gonna do it one more time, and then we're gonna go and we're gonna salute to the moon. All right. The mechanism's performance has improved a bit, but we still got to do some, you know, more tweaking to it. Okay, that's probably about right. Let's go look at the moon. Uh-oh. I think I broke Stellarium. We'll reopen it. We can actually connect multiple apps, so you can see we got the thingy that aims the telescope here. And we got the filter wheel down here. Oh, boy. Oops. That's why I couldn't see anything. Let's switch to a color red. See, look, that's Polaris and its stepsister. Look, see that little white dot next to Polaris? That is because Polaris is a binary star. I didn't even mean to show you guys that, but we might as well show that now that we're looking at it. So let's zoom in. Put a little bounding box. There's Polaris. And if you get in real tight, apparently even in this one, they don't show you the binary star. But it is a binary star. Isn't it? Yeah, it says double star. Okay, so double stars are often hard to resolve. Apparently, I've resolved it. Or am I even looking at Polaris? Yeah, it's got to be Polaris. It's the brightest star in the sky. And if we were to rotate the telescope mount right now, it's going to rotate along this red line within a reasonable margin of error. So, number one, let's get the software here. We're going to unpark the telescope. We're now going to move east. And either I'm not aiming at Polaris, or my polar alignment is really off. Actually, I think I know what's happening here. Now we're going to go back in the opposite direction. See, now it's following that circle within a reasonable margin. A little bit of drift there. I'm not really doing this correctly at all. If I really want to do it, I can do Polar Alignment Assistant, which is over here. And then we get like a longer exposure. There we go. So now I believe Aumi is Polaris. Don't quote me on that. Aumi. Yeah, it's Polaris. I guess it's like some of the, you know, ancient tongue. And so, in theory, we can rotate this and see that it follows a circle. See how everything's moving in a nice circle? This is, you know, literally because of the Earth's rotation. That is why when you watch a video where somebody feels really strongly about telling you the Earth is flat, and I'm going to pull up a video of that type right now. they're usually, I mean, they're always wrong. I mean, almost always wrong. But I mean, you know, it's okay to be open-minded. It's okay to understand that maybe we as individuals don't have our arguments lined up, you know, like sometimes I think we all want to, you know, quote the science book, you know, because, I mean, we say, well, of course it's got to be correct. I love how my reaction playlist is missing right now. I literally created a playlist for reacting to stuff. And sometimes if you put like certain music into a YouTube playlist, it disappears. Like, it's like, oh, you're looking at this on a desktop. Oh, we can't let you have that. Oh, not the music. It's like, oh, jeez. But anyway, let's get, I'm now looking to my history here. Because I should be able to spot a video that has reduced the amount of brain cells in my brain. Ah, here we go. So, it was pretty dumb. It was pretty damn dumb. So I got it right over here. Because, I mean, no matter how many words a flat earth enthusiast can use to string together their case, they don't really know what they're talking about. And so, for example, there's this guy, he's like a British videographer, and he does videos about...
The A380 is not a curved fuselage section like the rest of the plane. It's where the undercarriage goes, and it has a flat bottom to it.
What?
No, Dave. It is curved and slopes. I don't know how you can't see that or claim that.
It's where the...
So, like, this is, like, not really related to anything, but I left a comment in reference to this part because, you know, whatever, you know, basically, you know, many flat earth videos, they will cherry pick or go through a video and try to spot some kind of syntax error, something, anything, and, you know, maybe something they simply don't agree with. They think that's enough to present, you know, a counterpoint to show, look, I don't agree with this point and stuff. But this one here, I don't even know what the point being made in the original video was. Okay, this is, you know, all, you know, cut up into small clips, but essentially, yeah, it is curved from front to back. Yeah, I see that, but the guy also makes reference to the fuselage on an airplane. Also, did you guys get any audio? I don't think you got any audio. Yeah, no, I didn't give you audio. All right, we're gonna give you audio now. Okay, now you have audio.
The undercarriage goes is curved. This area of the A380 is not a curved fuselage section like the rest of the plane. It's where the undercarriage goes, and it has a flat bottom to it.
What?
So essentially, a fuselage is round or curved along the horizontal axis because, I mean, it's like a submarine in reverse. The undercarriage is not a pressurized compartment, so where the landing gears go, it is flat from left to right. Now, there is a slight curve here, but the guy was definitely talking about the horizontal curvature. Beyond that, I do not know what the context of this is. But let's go to the beginning. So he plays a clip from this guy. He's a guy who, you know, makes fun of flat earth videos.
Now, flat earthers love to present observations which they claim debunk the globe, usually involving viewing objects way off beyond the horizon, and they argue those objects should not be visible as much as they are on a globe based on their maths. Normally because they've missed out some variables such as observer height and or refraction.
How to stop compulsive lying. Do you find yourself lying compulsively?
So now he's playing a clip from howcast.com.
Lying can help you stop this destructive behavior. You will need awareness of your problem, a trained mental health professional.
Such as observer height.
Then the flat earther plays it in high speed.
Is almost always included by people presenting flat earth evidence, Dave. It's funny you...
Then he's claiming, the guy's making this video is claiming that flat earthers always mention the observer height. Sometimes they do. Honestly, I don't even know. I don't have time to go through all of the flat earth videos, but I've gone through enough of them in my time. And in particular, this one here, it looks like, at first I thought he was going to debunk one video. You know, it's like, okay, debunk that one topic, you know, focus on one thing. And it goes on for 2 hours. Like, 2 hours of people giving, like, their opinion, basically, or showing their
laser was on the salad
bad
at
experiment.
2.92 meters, or 9.58 feet, above the lake's surface. It was seen at the target 3 position, 18.73 kilometers, or 11.
Calculation gave a result of 0.235 millimeters.
Anyway, let's do something more fun now. I just wanted to share that ever so briefly because, you know, I'm a glutton for wasting time. But jokes aside, we're going to do some real astrometrics right now. Uh-oh. There we go. Let's close the chat window. I want to make sure I didn't accidentally have a glitch with my chat window. Sometimes the chat window decides to go dead on me, and then I don't find out until later. Okay, good. We're looking good, guys. Very, very, very good. All right, let's get back to the thingy. So anyway, yeah, if you know, you believe the Earth is flat, I'm not going to hold that against you unless you hold it against me for thinking it's not flat. But essentially, the flat Earth people, they don't really get Polaris. They think Polaris is dead center because it looks like it's in the center. So they try to argue, oh, how could it be in the center? It's like, well, it's not. It's actually off center. And as the Earth rotates, it moves in this nice little ring. And then they might go, oh, but the constellations haven't changed for thousands of years. It's like, well, that's a different thing. But okay, it's a good question because most people don't have, you know, most people who believe the Earth is round don't know why that is, or they could be, you know, caught off guard. So anybody who goes, oh, I used to believe in the globe, and then I saw the light because someone pointed out some discrepancies. Well, that just means they didn't understand the original thing to begin with. So they're much easier to convince. They're much easier to, you know, win over to the side of, you know, ignorance, misinformation, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. So anyway, right now we're following the, oop, that's going to be bright. So we're going to drop the ISO, we're going to drop the gain. We're going to crank the exposure settings down pretty low. We're going to, oh, there we go. And we're going to bring the moon into the center of this frame. So we could do something like this. Now, the moon, it's kind of funny. Like we had multiple cloudy nights this past couple of weeks. And that could be inconvenient sometimes because, you know, by the time the cloudy nights are over, you want to take some long exposure photography, especially if you've been focusing on a target like 4 weeks ago that's about to go out of season. You know, like if I'm focusing on a galaxy or a nebula and it's literally about to go out of season because, you know, you're not going to see the same objects in the sky year round, then I gotta freaking do something, you know, I gotta like work it out. But with the moon out, it creates a fair bit of light pollution that, that interferes, you know, with long exposure photography. Now, you can still overcome it. It's just, it's nice when you don't have to deal with that, you know, it's like one less thing. I do want to say hello to Bucky's Crafting. How are you doing today? I'm also watching our friend Pacific. Is he still on? Is he playing a different game? I was watching Pacific 414, but I think he's playing a different game now. It looks like he's playing a different game. Damn, that looks cool. He's playing a spaceship game. I need to know what the hell he's playing. Alright, we're taking this off the Chromecast. We're going to watch Pacific 414 together right now. I'm going to find out what is Mike doing. Yo, that is so cool. Yo, what the heck is...
I screwed up. I'm retrying.
I have no idea what game.
I accidentally wasted my restores when I shouldn't have.
Alright, we're gonna find out what game this is. But how cool is that? He's flying a starfighter. I want in. Is this Final Fantasy? And I hope your husband has a good time at work today. That is a peaceful day at work or night, and that there are no, you know, equipment malfunctions or drama or anything to that effect. Man, I can't wait to find out. I guess I can rewind.
I
think it is Final Fantasy. I didn't know they had Starfighter game, Galactic Saviors.
Of course, we got the charge.
Okay. It's literally Final Fantasy. Okay,
right.
good. Now I can put that back on my TV and resume what I was doing. Alright, let's get back to Lunar 1. Lunar 1. Because the opposite of Lunar 1 is Lunar 2. I'm just cleaning my browser tabs up real quick. Okay, there we go. Now we can get back to this. What up, Bone? I saw you the other day. I see Bone everywhere. Not everywhere, but many places. I think I was riding my bike. I saw you on Real Weight Gaming Nation's chat. I was riding my bike, and at the time I, had somewhere to be, so I couldn't really interact in the chat. But I was like, oh, cool, Bone is there. All right, let's get the heads-up display up. We're going to shoot the moon with a super laser. Okay, we're not really going to shoot the moon. But yeah, I gotta get, not a life, but I need to, stop wasting time watching Flat Earth videos. I mean, I mostly did stop. It's sort of like Facebook. So, a long time ago, I used to read stuff on Facebook, and it's not that it's a bad influence or anything like that. I mean, it is, but it was just a waste of time. I'd see some talking point on Facebook that I don't even agree with, and I would bring it up to somebody else as, sort of devil's advocate, And next thing you know, I'm starting a fight about some shit. It's like I'm not even trying to start a fight, but sometimes you try to play devil's advocate and the person really keeps giving you the talking point, the counter the devil's advocate argument, which I guess is part of the point. But sometimes I would find that I'd be hearing talking points that I agree with. I'd be saying look, I agree with this talking point, but the point of this exercise, for me at least, is to try to understand the mindset of the person with the bad point, hoping that we could build bridges somehow, meet them halfway. And of course, people would say, oh, I don't want to meet, people who are wrong halfway. I was like, well, I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying that you got to at least act like you understand where they're coming from if you're going to even begin to change their mind. I mean, politically, what up, David Glenn? Politically, you're not going to change somebody's mind by, presenting talking points that you and your friends agree with. It's like, that just doesn't really, do it for most people. Why should it, right? I'm trying to figure out if this is too bright. I don't think it's too bright, but I'm reluctant to lower the exposure time any more than I am already. What we could do is we could take pictures in 18 megapixel mode. I'm sorry, did I say 47 megapixel mode? Hey, what up, Lion Ratton? Good to see you. I hope you're having a fine evening tonight. That's a cool picture. Alright, so we switched the camera into 48 megapixel, 47 megapixel mode, which gives us a very, large resolution. But one of the tricks we do is we crop the region of, interest. So we don't need to see this entire black border, right? So we crop it. And that gives us, basically makes it so that the camera has less information to deal with. And so now the only caveat about doing this is I now need to make sure that the telescope stays on target. And if everything is polar aligned perfectly, it will. But we don't have to worry about that because we have a feature, no pun intended, called feature tracking, which will lock on and keep us on target. See, now I just blew it out of focus, so we're going to go and fix that. There we go. That's about as close to focus as I think we can really count on. And so now we can zoom out. And we can call it, let's say, Moon 47M, we'll call it, because it's 47 megapixels. and we're going to use the SER format, which is sort of like a video comprised of a bunch of raw images. And we're going to do maybe, 500 frames maybe? And in the meantime, we're going to take a look at the star map and see what we can do. Once again, the moon's going to create a lot of light pollution. This green circle, this is like an imaginary dome. So imagine if you're laying down on the ground and you're looking straight up. This will be the center of the sky. And then if we turn on this grid, we can figure out where north is. So essentially now, if you're standing on the ground and you do, it's going to sound crazy, but if you do the Hail Caesar, or if you're a bad guy from World War II and you put your hand up, essentially Polaris will be there. Or you can point. Yeah, you don't have to do the Hail Caesar, you can just point. But essentially, this the angle that this blue circle is in. Whereas this is like directly over your head. So based on that, you can even see the moon follows this blue circle. The moon comes from here. It's going to go here. And I can predict based on these dark blue lines that the moon is going to eventually be over here. To give you an idea. So anywho, Bode's Galaxy is a fun one, and you know what? It's at an optimal angle too. Alongside its Cigar Galaxy. This is actually a fun one to pick, photograph because it's a cigar. But even if I frame them correctly, I still got to deal with, the moon being an enormous light pollution source, not even counting Jersey City, Manhattan, Brooklyn, etc. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? We forgot to use feature tracking. Let's try it out right now. Don't know what solar or lunar framing assistant does. I actually don't even see the option for feature tracking here all of a sudden. Maybe I'm blind. Oh, maybe I can't turn it on while it's taking pictures. That makes sense. Although it's staying in the center pretty well, actually, right? It's not drifting. So you got to be careful because if you walk away from the computer and you come back in the middle of a photo run, the moon will literally be on the edge, and at that point you can't really use that picture anymore. Now, one of the challenges also is that the 48 megapixel mode, it burns through a lot. I mean, you're dealing with enormous frames. I mean, each picture is like a crap ton of megabytes in size. This file alone is 4 gigs. I just went through 4 gigs to take 250 frames. So in a way, I'm kind of glad that I have a dedicated computer for astrophotography now in the backyard because I can do all of the image processing, all of the stacking directly on that machine while I'm remotely logged in, and then I don't have to move data over the network, although I still do because, you really shouldn't just store vital data outside. But it's nice to have options. Okay, I didn't even mean to do it that well, but it looks like I actually did it, but I don't trust what I just did, so I'm going to actually do this. See, now we got the moon, we got pretty good detail on the craters. So now we can go and take another 4 gigs of pictures. And it looks like my polar alignment was pretty on the money last time, considering that we haven't needed to manually compensate. We just got to keep an eye on the moon, but I'm going to keep this photo run small. I'm not going to do the 500 frames. I'm going to do the, just keep it small, do the 250 frames. In the meantime, let's pop into a game. And this is where it comes in really handy to have the Steam window on my bottom monitor. I can literally go through here. So I discovered Gundam Battle Operation 2 yesterday. I don't know if that runs in a windowed mode or not. We're going to take the astrophotography. We're going to put this on my top monitor. As soon as I can figure out how to break out of full screen mode. Okay, there we go. Now, Gundam Battle Operation was a very interesting game. I'm going to crank down the volume a little bit. And hopefully we get the right combination. And so in the meantime, hopefully you can see the moon. I can't see the moon right now. My chat window is blocking my view. Uh-oh. All right, let's go. We got a PlayStation 5 controller here. We can actually play this in ultra wide mode, I think, because I think it actually is configured accordingly. So we're going to do that. We're going to play this in ultra wide mode. I'm not getting any sound. I think I know why. Oh, no, I don't know why. You guys let me know if the sound needs to be lowered. I mean, I'm going to try to figure it out right now. I think the sound is good, but let me know if you guys want it lower, okay? Yeah, so this game was really interesting. I discovered it yesterday. Hey Google, test. Shit, my phone's ringing. Hey Google, test. I gotta take care of something on my friend needs help transferring data from a phone, and so I got their old phone. It's like an Obama phone, but I also have they had a concern about some security thing, and that always gets me the weebie-jeebies. You know, it's like, ah, man, I don't want to deal with no security thing. You know, like
Give them hell, pilot.
like when people think their stuff is being hacked or something like that. It's like, I don't want to know. I don't want nothing to do with that, yo. I just felt like adjusting my XLR adapters just now. Even I'm not even using XLR. Like I have it.
Say you're due for a bonus.
I went to use.
Swing by the reward center
I went to
collect
use
it
a
when you're ready.
XLR mic last week to test it for somebody, and it did not do the things I wanted it to do. Oh, yo, you know what game was dope? Star Wars Squadrons. That game was fun. I want to pilot something. Who do I? Oh, okay. See, so interestingly, we are getting a little choppy frame rate here, so we're gonna try to fix that. What up, James? My head hurts really bad. However, have a like. All right, I'll take the like, and I hope your head feels good, or ends up feeling good, or maybe less bad. Less bad would be a
Please
consolation.
confirm or change the various settings.
So, right now we're running in borderless window. It doesn't let me control the refresh rate, but what I could do is turn off the VSync. That sometimes helps with the performance.
Modifying settings.
Sometimes you'll discover you really need VSync. But sometimes, like, the minor aberrations you get from turning off VSync are, like,
Want to
insignificant.
do some training?
Sure.
Which course did you want to try? Are you sure this is the training course you want?
Yeah,
Ready
sure.
to begin?
So that's the base commander's daughter, by the way. So, you know, I would not mess with her. Like, you know, you might think, oh, cute girl, maybe I can get a date. No, don't mess with the base commander's daughter, okay?
Ready for your next lesson?
No, I'm trying to pause. Like, literally, I'm trying to pause. All right. So let's get to my top monitor real quick and take a look. So I think we took plenty of frames here, but it's already 50 left. Also found a funny sci-fi story. Look, man, I read Douglas Adams. No, I'm kidding. Okay. I'd be interested in a funny sci-fi story. I like sci-fi in general. All right, I don't have the patience. We're gonna do 460 frames, and we're gonna move on to the green filter now. Because that's basically what we're doing. We're getting red, blue, and green, and then maybe I'll even process them tonight into a final image, and I'll share it on my community tab if you know, all works out. But I gotta say, I'm really surprised. The moon is mostly staying in the center of the frame. It's not doing any funny business. It almost looks like it's in focus already. Not quite as fun as Bill the Galactic Hero series. I think that's basically about right. Let's work with that. Locking, taking a picture. It did drift a little bit to the right, but we're still in the center, like, without any real intervention. So we can do that.
Mission log 00. We have officially been tasked with acquiring a human specimen without being noticed and researching possible methods of assassination for possible future gain.
All right, I'm gonna bookmark that. For now, however, I'll leave this like this so I can see what I'm doing. All right. So now let's try this out. Uh-oh, I lost control. Oh, there we go. I wish I could see the front of this mobile suit. Oh, you want to see a cool feature though? Check this out. If you press B, you can emergency eject. I just destroyed a mobile suit with my own grenade. Then we can go back inside the mobile suit. I was gonna go back in my mobile suit, but apparently I ran out of time. But yeah, I just think that's really cool. And you can see a launch elevator, or you know, you see that little ramp up there. That's a way of launching space vehicles into space. You basically get them to a really high speed, and you do it on like basically a maglev. Now, only issue of this game, amongst many things, is like the beam saber. So, like, you essentially swing the beam saber, you gotta wait like a few seconds. Like, I get the idea is to, you know, give everyone like a fair advantage or disadvantage, and I guess as you improve your stats, you could shorten the recharge time. But sometimes it just, you know, feels a little bit less natural. That said, compared to Gundam Crossfire gave you a lot of freedom to operate your mobile suit your own way. The problem with Gundam Crossfire was that it wasn't really consistent, you know? I'm trying to figure out how to jump. There's a way to jump over things. Yeah, I still gotta figure. I was doing a tutorial on jumping yesterday, so that's Gundam Battle Operation in a nutshell. Now, I didn't do anything cool, didn't go to space, but it covers some of the basics there, which, you know, why I think the game is, you know, worth playing on my end. I like it more than I like Gundam, you know, the other Gundam game that came out. You know, that new one that, I think it's getting discontinued.
Aw, come back again soon.
And then what's weird is a lot of games put the
Please
exit
confirm or change the
under
various
options. Like, why do they put exit under options? Like, if I was a boomer, I wouldn't know where to go. I mean, I barely know where to go right now. So, I mean, that's why I'm saying that. And I'm not trying to knock people of the previous generations. So, anyway, looks like we're about to clear that 450 there. Read those years ago before Wotitis infected all. Oh, I get it. Wokitis. Yes, that affliction. Wokitis. It was the 90s. Yup, that's it. Some legit low memories. Must be a prototype robot jocks. However, that was spelled. Okay, movie. Really stupid ending. Huh. Razor first actually roasted it. Yes, I just read the chat from James as if I'm a William Shatner you know, what do you call it? William Shatner monologue. So here's a tough decision. Do we do Star Wars or do we do Beam NG? If this game is cool, like you could do all kinds of ridiculous stuff while driving, but I gotta say this game's pretty good. First time I played it, I was doing it in what do you call it? Oh, you know what game I gotta play? Strike Suit Zero. Literally have to play that because I've been meaning to play it. But hopefully while the game is loading, we can go back to my top monitor and we're going to tell it to take 500 frames in red.
For all mankind's
Damn it, I moved my
dreams about
reticle.
reaching new worlds, we had always been tied to the one that created us. The signal changed all that. Sent from an uncharted part of the galaxy, it told us how to escape the confines of our world. So we followed its instructions and built vast seed ships that we sent across the galaxy to populate new worlds and search for the origin of the signal. Decades passed, and the more worlds we colonized, the more fractured we became.
There we go. So we got this lined up more or less as well as I need it to be. It's taking new pictures, and we can go down here.
Earth wouldn't allow it.
DLD, which is Build a Galactic Hero? No. DLD After Dark went live.
Then the colonists found the
wait, which one's
source of the
DLD?
signal, and everything
If you're into
changed
gun
again.
tubers. Oh, okay, that's cool. If anybody's
They
interested
traced
in
the
that.
transmission to the
I'm not
crash site
disinterested
of
in
what
gun
was
tubers. I'm
believed
not
to be
terribly
an
interested in it
escape
either, but I'm not disinterested. But I hope you enjoy the
There was
show.
no evidence of a crew.
Yeah, don't worry, man. Don't
Just
let your
wreckage.
eyes strain. Look,
But
you can always
there
come
was
back
new
and give me watch
technology
hours later while
and
you're
the
sleeping
colonies
and
used it to
watching me on
strike
TV. You don't have to do it right now, you
Earth
know,
could
watch
study the
whatever
wreckage
is
in return
truly
for colonial
interesting in the
independence.
immediate term. It's the
However,
American way.
The deal turned sour. Earth scientists discovered
Right now, we're going to try Strike Suit Zero. This is a game I was very excited to try out. In fact, I'm going to start recording. Right, recording. Uh-oh. The record button. Wait, did it not work? Alrighty. We're going to try out a game today called Strike Suit Zero. I'm in the middle of a live stream already, but I wanted to do a recording where I show this game because I had pretty good fun playing it yesterday. The only setting I need to change is, I believe, the response time, because I did play the game in like 180 hertz mode yesterday. Was it? This game might have been a different game. But I want to be darned sure that we're not running at 180 hertz right now, because, you know, that just wouldn't be good. I don't think we're running at 180 hertz mode. I wish I could be darned sure. Whoops. I keep doing that. Yeah, no, I think it's basically fine. Hopefully. Oh, this is good. I didn't know I could adjust the field of view. Oh boy. What did I just do? There we go. So, interestingly, I don't see a way to adjust the field of view. It like jumps. Oh, there we go. Now, this is how you get eye strain. A little janky here. Alright, well, it looks like the maximum field of view is that. So, one of the weird things is, like, when you play these, like, games on a widescreen, ultra-wide monitor, you get this weird effect where everything on the corners gets distorted, and that's why that planet looks kind of like an oval right there. It's just that, you know, it's just the nature of ultra-wide monitors. In fact, if it didn't look distorted, that would be more, you know, fake looking. So sometimes you compensate by increasing your field of view, but it looks like in my case, this is where it's at. I mean, there's really not much I can do, so we're gonna roll with it. My dad and I talked about the MFFU disease also infecting people's mindset last while. Of a mindset for a while. Me first, fuck you. That's what it means. So yeah, my dad and I talked about the me first, fuck you disease also infecting people's mindset for a while today. Not sure if me first, fuck you or Wogitis is worse. I mean, in a way they kind of go hand in hand because like people use like sometimes look, I think sometimes people who are called woke have good intentions, you know, like I think most of us, anybody who's doing political activism or whatever you want to call it, they mean well, right? It's not like they want to make everyone's life miserable. I mean, some of them do, but in theory, people are trying to uplift the human condition and all of that. But I think that the wokeitis and the me first fuck you thing goes hand in hand, and maybe this is just me talking out of my rectum, you know, kind of just saying what sounds good to me off the top of my head. You know, I'm not one of those people who's going to tell you that my intuition rules. You know, I think, you know, sometimes people will say, oh, I have a certain intuition, and it's like, that's nice, but I mean, it's particularly objective, you know. But what I'm getting at is, like, if I had the me first fuck you virus and I pretend to be woke, I can act like I care about other people while advancing my own personal, you know, objectives, if that makes sense.
A major offensive. The Earth fleet has massed to intercept them.
And why are we wasting time here?
We are waiting. In time, we will rendezvous with the survivors.
What the hell does that mean?
More enemy ships inbound.
So see, this is a Gundam game or a Macross game that that never came out. But getting back on a topic here real quick. Yeah, so regarding BeamNG Drive, yeah, it definitely one of the things about that game is, like you say, you could even use the complex physics models to do virtual crash testing. And when you're driving up a mountain and it tells you that your oil pan has been damaged and your engine is starved of oil, that's pretty interesting, you know. So it's like, it's not like the movies where you can just drive on any terrain. It's like, no, you're gonna have consequences when you drive like like with no care in the world. So I do appreciate that about that particular driving game. First time I saw it was I was working at Best Buy and a kid was testing it out. He wanted to make sure his new, driver installation would work correctly with the game, and he was driving off a mountain. I was like, this is freaking cool. He's like, yeah, it's the name of the game. I'm like, well, I want it. Alright, so we're going to actually use the hydrogen filter. Even though the moon isn't hydrogen, we can still use the hydrogen filter on the moon because, it is still reflecting light from that end of the EM spectrum, is it not? So getting back to the chat here. If you find a free reading of the Bill of Galactic Heroes book, listen. Very silly and funny. The Bill of the Galactic Hero. Bill of the Galactic Hero. Got it. It's nice to see some people smash by and smash your like button. Even the lurkers are hitting that button. Nice upgrade. I know we got a good chat and good lurkers and good friends of the channel. Dude wrote a gang of those, at least 5 books. I wish the guy who wrote Hyperion wrote more books, but then more books in that universe. But I also understand that it makes the books that exist in that universe that much more valuable. And some authors, they would go for broke. They just they would kill the universe. They'd be like, oh, I'm gonna keep writing it until there's nothing more to write. So I can appreciate an author who knows when to stop. A cup of coffee, some eggs, maybe the headlock will die. Yeah, sometimes coffee helps, sometimes. But anyway, yeah, so I do think that, like, a lot of people, they do altruistic things, but they're really just being, what do you call it? Like, they're just kind of acting like they care about other people, and it's really just a means to their own goals. Like politicians. Then you got that recent drama with the Sweet Baby Ink Company. I don't know why they're making printer ink and why it has to taste sweet, but so it's a mech game, but it's not just a mech game. How cool is that? cool is that? I like this game. Biggest issue, like I said, with an ultra-wide monitor, you're gonna get this weird distortion on the side that made me want to adjust my field of view, but I'm not even sure what is proper or not. I think the current setting works, but if anyone has any opinion about the way the ultra-wide looks, let me know. And I'm pretty sure I'm playing in 60 Hertz mode right now, but game is I like it. I like it. I don't care if I die. I like it anyway. Now where's that Corvette? I need to get the Corvette. Need to find the big ship. I want to get the Corvette or get this guy. This guy looks like he deserves to be. I don't think I have to blow these up, do I? I think I just wasted ammo on debris. don't even know how to brake. Good, I want to eat dinner. It's a stolen pun from Wet Dream, and why it is made from babies. Huh, is it?
Clear the station.
The singing reminds me of Farscape. Oh man, I didn't record that part where I won. So I put the recording on pause to talk about, you know, the MFFU dilemma. And, well, at least we caught the ending of the, you know, part where I'm victorious. So yeah, that is Strike Suit Zero. And, apparently it works in ultra widescreen mode. I want to exit the game, so we're going to exit the game now, but I enjoyed that, and I will play it again. First time I played it, I needed to take a break, you know, decompress. Now, I'm pretty comfortable with the game, so I don't need to take a break anymore. BeamNG Drive. Yeah, I like that game. I don't know if I have time to play it right now, because I might eat dinner right now. It's a little late to eat dinner, isn't it? Let me see what the dinner situation looks like before I get off the stream. This is a lower quality image because we're doing a longer... In fact, you know what? We're going to do a shorter exposure. Alright, I'll be back. I want to see what is good. Alright, and you know it's funny, I'm gonna have trouble sleeping tonight, but I gotta get a haircut tomorrow at early morning, like 11:30 a.m. I mean, it's not that early. I can always take a nap after the haircut. But I want to get a haircut before I see Dune. which it looks like I should be able to see it next week in IMAX. So that's good because, you know, I hate to miss it. So now this game here, I don't remember, I might have started playing this in windowed mode recently because you really don't need this game in, like, you know, full screen, you know? I mean, it's nice, but with the way the screen is getting distorted, and also my logic was like, if I put it in this mode, I can more easily, you know, like I can zoom in on it like this, and then resize the app window like this. So, you know, if I'm playing alone, I'd probably expand it if I was alone, you know? But if I'm streaming like I'm doing now, having it in a smaller window makes it, you know, so that you guys can see more of the image. But also, the logic I'm using is that, well, I don't know, there's like benefits to everything. So one advantage to running this game in full screen mode is, you know, maybe taking advantage of the entire monitor, or using 180 hertz mode, which is exactly why we're looking at the settings right now, because I don't want to accidentally have it set to like an obscenely high refresh rate. I'm pretty sure it follows if you use windowed mode with an NVIDIA GPU and G-Sync for windowed mode is enabled in NVIDIA control panel, the frame rate can decrease significantly. I don't know what that means. I mean, I kind of have an idea what that means. There's also multi-monitor render, which I'm not 100% sure what this does. But, like, ideally, what I would do is I would have a rear view mirror on my second monitor. That's what I would do. But last couple of times in the past when I put on multi-monitor mode in this game, it would just, like, split the entire monitor in half and it would still occupy one screen. So I wasn't really crazy about that. But, you know, there's many ways to skin a cat when it comes to playing games on a computer. So yeah, I'm 80% sure I don't have to adjust the refresh rate because I'm in this mode, but we are going to limit the 60 hertz to ensure that we don't accidentally overshoot the mark. So there we go. So, you know, it's like, these are things like where, like, if I'm playing a game alone, I could play it in freaking, you know, 180 hertz mode. I don't know if my monitor delivers a true 180 hertz, but it sure does look smoother. So this is going to be a real quick one before I eat dinner. So we're going to just jump right into the automation test track, I think they call it. I don't actually know what they call it, but let's let it load. And in the meantime, we'll take a look at the Cosmos. Yeah, like the moon is like just occupying the center of the sky, so I don't even know what to do right now. Like, let's see, maybe we can find a target over here. That's a nice little star cluster. Looks like a little pom-pom. I think we're going to do M3. So let's salute to the target. Oh man, I should have... Never mind, too late now. In the meantime, this is a pretty average truck, right? And in this game, you can use the left button on your D-pad to set a new starting point. Oh, that's interesting. It looked a little sketchy there for a second, the way the image was moving. I mean, it's mostly smooth. I'm probably being a little anal here. I believe some games work better in a full screen mode. That is a factor. So, okay, I'm looking for the terrain. I want to find the terrain test. There it is. Phew. Oh. I lost it. Where was it? Oh, there it is. It was actually over here. Now you want to see something ridiculous? Well, it's two ridiculous things. All right, you know what? We're going to do something crazy. Before I go, we're going to play some basketball. Whoop. Wow, even the field of view on the corner of the central screen looks a little bit off. And I'm gonna have to talk to a scientist about that. Alright, we're gonna get a different car. We're gonna take this car right here. This thing's a beast. It's very powerful, it's fast. It'll do the trick. It's got all-wheel drive. You're gonna love this. Do I have a flat tire? I think I have a flat tire. Hey, Jolly on tonight? Floro had a fun show yesterday. Talk about two puppets at the same time. Hope they don't get jealous. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so we gotta get it into the basketball hoop. So how do we do that? Well, we gotta first know where's the basketball hoop. I think it's like right here. There we go. We got it. We got it. Oh, we didn't get it. All right, let's do that again. See, that's how easy it is. That's how you play basketball in this game. I don't even know where I'm going. Now we're gonna do something ridiculously similar. Can't find any indication of snow dub. What's up, Lady Mist? I'm about to eat dinner, but we played a game called... Well, I played a game, you know, we played a game. Well, everyone watched me play a game called Strike Suit Zero. And it's sort of like the Macross game that they never made. So what happened was there was a new Macross game that came out in Japan recently. And it was supposed to come out here, but apparently they didn't really make it clear... They didn't make it clear that the game wasn't coming out here, like, on the date that it was supposed to. So, people like me are waiting for it. So, ultimately, I find out the game is a side-scroller anyway. So, I'm like, okay, it's not really my thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I got a Macross game if that's a side-scroller. It's alright. It's actually Robotech, but, you know, like... It's good enough, you know? Like, you could transform into Valkyrie mode and Veritech mode or whatever, Overtech mode, Mech mode, Girl Walk mode. You know, you can do all of the things that you would do in Macross, but it's a side-scroller. And so, being told that I've been anticipating a side-scrolling game without realizing it, kind of just, you know, makes me not care anymore about it. So... When someone said Strike Suit Zero is the game that you're looking for, I was like, alright, I'll try it. Right, we're gonna do a half pipe. You're gonna love... Uh-oh, I don't even mean to do this one, but... Oh god. I had to reset that. What is that? Why are there little doors in there? Is that like a way to thread the needle? Well, anyway, I'll show you something cool. Oh, did I get it? Did I get it? Oh, yeah! Oh, gravity! Gravity is the American way. You know, we invented gravity, right? Like, there was no gravity before us. Don't let any Europeans tell you otherwise. Nah, but jokes aside, they invented gravity. Discovered it. So, what do you guys think about neutrinos? I really don't have any dog in the fight on this one. It's just that I was at work and my buddy at work was kind of like, you know, telling me that, oh, neutrinos are made up. And I was like, oh, but they measure something. He's like, oh, but they're only measuring the property of it. But it's like, well, we measure the property of many things. I mean, you know, doesn't mean that they're not real. And so some people would think that things like, you know, dark matter, for example, like is another one where one of the reasons dark matter is a thing is because people don't, you know, like the astronomers say that the computations are just, that their mathematics are wrong. I lost sound. There we go. So anyway, yeah, so they say that, like, for example, that the speed at which the galaxy is spinning is very similar on the outer perimeter as it is on the inner perimeter. And so the argument is that dark matter was made up in order to explain this discrepancy. And actually that kind of makes sense. It might not be an invalid reason to do it, you know. But then my coworker was saying he watches this Russian guy and he sounds like a straight shooter for some reason. And the Russian guy was like saying that dark matter was invented in order to explain why the sun's gravity doesn't overpower the Earth's gravity with the moon. So if the moon is, you know, if the sun is bigger than the Earth, his argument was that the moon... why can't I start my... Oh, I see, I mean, there we go. Oh, I'm paused. You got to unpause the simulation. So as I was saying was, the argument was that, oh, the moon shouldn't be able to control the tides, or the moon should be overpowered by the sun. And so dark matter was invented to explain why the sun's gravity doesn't overpower the moon when it comes to, you know, what do you call it? You know, to the tides and all of that stuff. So, I mean, I told him, like, oh, I don't even know, man. I didn't even know this was a thing. I don't even know where to begin. So, I mean, one, I've never heard that argument being made from any, you know, real mainstream, you know, publication or anything in between. But I look into it and I realize, well, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, if you don't want to believe in gravity in its current form, that's one thing. But I don't think the, you know, dark matter thing is there to, you know, explain that. From what I understand is it's this inverse square law. Our distance with relation to the sun is the reason why the sun's almighty gravity. That's interesting. I can't even reverse right now. It's taking all of my, like, pedal to the metal to reverse the car. There we go. So this is actually an interesting setup. So if you look at this vehicle here, I don't mean to be changing topic every 3 seconds. And you're right, David Glenn, neutrinos be ghosting me. Look, I'm not gonna like claim I know for certain that neutrinos are real or not, but it looks like they're, you know, they're putting the legwork in. They dug a hole in the mountain in Japan, and somebody thinks it's worth, you know, what it costs to, you know, to hollow out a mountain to build a neutrino detector. Somebody thinks it's worth it. So what you're seeing here is, I need to get a better, you know what the problem with this test is? It's moving water. We need to find a water that is not moving. So we need to find a body of water, like maybe one of these down here. These are good though. These are like great if you're just trying to check how deep you can handle, but I think we want to go here. Oh, I can GPS it? Yes, there are solar tides. They are definitely weaker than lunar tides, as they should be, because of the distance, you know. And, like, you know, I'm not an expert on solar and lunar tides. I just don't like this when someone makes a sweeping statement like, oh, because of this has to be bullshit, or this form of science is bullshit because they can't explain why this and this doesn't work. And, like, you usually get hit with a gotcha. So I'm trying to remember what the gotcha was my coworker gave me. It's a pretty funny one because he said, I'm going to break your brain. So he asked me this question, and I was honest. I was like, I can't answer that question straight away. And I guess it did break my brain. But then within a day of, like, thinking it over myself, I mean, I figured out the right answer and was able to verify it. But, it was some random shit. But another argument was, like, here's one. Let's say one day you're arguing with somebody who doesn't believe that the moon is what the mainstream science people say it is. They might ask you to tell them in your words, why is the moon, you know, why does the moon give you that, like, why does the shadow on the moon appear the way it does, you know, like, what is the cause of that? And what they might do is ask you a leading question. They might even give you the answer. They'll tell you, oh, it's because of the mainstream reason is because of whatchamacallit, like the way that the light is hitting it from the side. So essentially the circular shape, in fact, we can look at this in Stellarium. Is because of the shadow. So when you get a crescent moon, this isn't really a crescent, but when you get a proper crescent moon, the argument people will say is, oh, it's because the shadow of the Earth. And then they'll give you some, like, other example that'll negate that. And the answer is not because of the shadow of the Earth. The reason you get a crescent moon at any given time is actually the whole thing's being lit from one side. Here, let's go. We're going to pick a different day of the week. Okay. Where's the moon? I keep losing. Oh, there it is. Okay, there's the moon. Oh, great. It's a full moon. I want to get like a... Perfect. So basically, as it turns out, if I was in space flying around the moon, I would be able to verify that one side of the moon is being lit up dead on. So the sun's hitting one side of the moon, and essentially if I'm sitting in front of the moon at the right angle, I will see a full moon. But as I move my spacecraft along the other side of the moon, say the side we're looking at now, yeah, you're going to see this shape here. And this has nothing to do with the shadow of the Earth. This has nothing to do with the Earth casting a shadow. This is completely because... Oh, damn it. I'm sorry. I gotta, I hate when I'm showing the wrong camera. But yes, this is not a shadow of the Earth. This is literally like the shadow of the entire moon blocking the other half. I mean, you literally have exactly half of it lit and half of it dark at any given time. And it's simply the angle we're looking at it from which affects the shape. And so one of the arguments my coworker gave me was, why doesn't it, and I'm surprised I can't get this. Can I get this locked on in the center? There we go. Now we got it. So his argument is that as this shadow goes to the middle, right? The shadow is moving to the middle right now. Why is that it goes from being round to suddenly straight? And so his argument is that it's straight because the moon is actually artificially creating the light. It's emitting light. It's not reflecting light. And it's like, no, that's not why. The reason you get the curve, once again, is not because of the Earth. It's basically because you're looking at it at the appropriate angle. And anytime you see a flat Earth that do a test with a flashlight and a ball, they're doing it wrong. They're just... The intensity of the light falls off too quickly with the type of light source they're using. Unless they're using like a Fresnel lens, they're not doing it right. They need to get a happy light. Literally. Flat Earthers who want to do this simulation need to buy a happy light. So anyway, I don't mean to be going off topic here. I don't know why I have to see, like I said, I gotta like get over the flat Earth thing and just like let them be. I mean, I do let them be, but I mean, come on, like, do I really need to spend my time getting bent out of shape over it? So getting back to the chat here, I do want to say hi to Pacific 414. He had a really bumping Final Fantasy stream today, and they even have some space combat in Final Fantasy that I was not aware of until today. So this vehicle here, I want to show you something real quick, people, friends. And that is, this vehicle has a cool feature. So the way this car works is it's got a exhaust pipe and an air intake like sticking out in front. You can see it. It's literally that pipe on top. And when you do this, it actually closes a valve. So the car can continue to take in air, the engine can continue to consume air, and the engine doesn't get flooded. So you can see it literally works underwater. So if you go into the African safari, this is the vehicle you would take. Now, the only thing is that if I go too far underwater, it's going to flood the engine. So right there we go. See, I flooded the engine. And then I damaged the engine. And apparently, I'm not recovering from that anymore. And then I gotta spawn a new car. So yeah, I wanted to show that to you guys because I think it's a pretty cool feature of this game that you can select vehicles that are designed to go underwater, so to speak. And then you got the other terrain test. You could do the mud. You could get yourself stuck in mud, and maybe if you have trouble in the winter with your car, you could try to simulate getting stuck in the mud and then finding how to get out. And this is just a cool track because you could test out every terrain under the sun, literally. Fermilab was shooting neutrinos at it for about a decade. There's a neutrino detector just 50 miles from where I am, David Glenn. It's located in an abandoned iron mine. Fermilab was shooting neutrinos at it for about a decade. I didn't even know Fermilab... Oops. I wasn't paying attention. I was driving and... I didn't even know Fermilab could shoot neutrinos at things. I mean, I know they got their particle accelerator. I guess you could do things with that. Alright, before I end this, we're going to do something cool. Because I do have to eat dinner. Yeah, I was invited to be on Pop Talk with Pacific 414. I just gotta verify my schedule. If I was smart, I would take a Sunday off from work just to do it, because then I can take an entire Sunday off. I'm afraid of taking too many days off in a row, but at the same time, I'm entitled to it, you know? And other people do it, so I really gotta get in the habit of doing it. All right. Oh, he got it. He shoots, he scores. Yeah, that's right. I'm a Curtis Sprewell. I'm a regular Curtis Sprewell. What do you think about that, guys? I don't even know who that is. I think he's a basketball player. In. Oh yeah. I guess I don't need to make sound effects if the game has its own sound effects, huh? Alright, we're gonna go on the roughest part. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna go riding the rock garden. Look, you can even simulate snow. Look, I'm riding on snow right now. Uh-oh, I need to stop. Uh-oh, I'm Robin Williams in the movie What About Glop? Oh, that's terrible. I'm going to hell for that, aren't I? You know the movie Glop where his wife is blowing the frickin' student, and then he, like, fucking does that thing where he's like, oh, hey, kids, let's drive downhill with the engine off and the power steering disengaged. So he does it, but he rams into the car with his wife in it because she's blowing one of her students, and like I think she gets her jaw wired. No, the kid gets his jaw wired shut. I think it was the kid. Yeah, it was like really fucked up, and it was the most, like, they did Christmas in a scene afterwards, and it was just like, you know, an awkward Christmas because the wife is in the car cheating, and she's the reason why, you know, the crashing happens, basically. I mean, it's always Robin Williams' fault for doing that, but I mean, he didn't know his wife was going to be giving fellatio to some guy in his driveway. So I'd say his wife is the one who should feel guilty here. But I think being a respectable character, Robin Williams' character in that movie was a respectable guy. He did feel guilty because, you know, he cares about his kids. Oh. Right, what's the last stunt I should do before I say something that gets me in trouble? Because if I keep talking, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. Like, one thing bad about this whole YouTube thing is, like, you just say... It gives you an opportunity to say things that people can use against you decades later. On the other hand, I think I stand behind most of the things I do say. And if somebody really wants to give me a hard time for something minor I said, well, then they're probably an asshole anyway. That's why I like Disney Sheepherder's mentality. He's like a very chill Hakuna Matata type fella. He had a video with like a joke in the title, and it wasn't even a bad joke, but some people were a little offended by it. And his attitude is like, look, I'll change the title of the video. He changed it basically because he's like, look, it doesn't take any sweat off my back to change the title of a video. If that's what, you know, people are offended by, and they're not offended by it once I change the title, and it doesn't take a lot of work for me to accommodate people's sensibilities, then yeah, why not? You know, like, as long as people are polite in expressing their criticism and stuff, you know, it's when people, we were talking about the wokeitis earlier today, that's where I think a lot of people get really annoyed, you know? Being given a list of demands, and then, you know, well, we know how it went. Like with that Gina Carano thing, people always say, oh no, the Gina Carano thing, she was fired for making comments about the Hollow thing. And that was part of it. But no, like before that even happened, like people were going there bugging her. They're like all like, oh Gina, when are you gonna put your pronouns on Twitter? It's like, look, she's not gonna hold it against you for having pronouns, but She's not obligated to have pronouns, and it's super annoying. So she decides to troll the people who demand her pronouns, and then they get mad, and then they try to pretend it's about something else. Okay. But that is a annoying thing about today. Yeah, there we go. I wanted to do that. So when you do it with a really fast car, you can actually get stuck. You can actually use centrifugal force to get stuck on the bottom of that hurricane fencing there. So that's kind of cool. Oh, I bent it. Something got bent up in my car. Now my car is really messed up. All right. Anyway, let's check space real quick before we go. All right, we're gonna end this game and we're gonna check space. So hope you guys have a wonderful weekend coming up here. You know, I mean, mine already started. Mine ends a day earlier, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, my weekend ends a day earlier. Okay, so now we were looking at M3. But are we really looking at M3? Well, here's one way to find out. So we're going to crank up the exposure time. We're actually going to do... Oh, you know what? We got to take it out of 47 megapixel mode. That's really important because lower resolutions mean bigger pixels. Bigger pixels means more light, more photons collected per a... segment of the image sensor. So we're gonna do that right now. So what we do is we're gonna take, I think we basically got it. I just saw a star. The Star Wars, the Star Wars, and the Star Wars. That's my gator imitation. The Star Wars, and the Star Wars, and the Star Wars. So anyway, we're going to do like a 8.5 second, no, 7.5 second exposure. And we're going to tell the software to do what we call plate solving. So plate solving is where it takes a picture and it automatically figures out where we are looking in the cosmos. Even if the picture is blurry, even if the picture is really light polluted. It looks like we got a lot of light pollution. Oh, there's the star cluster. I found it. Have a good night, David Glenn. Thanks for dropping by. I'm always going to wrap up soon. But look at that. See, that's a star cluster right there, my friends. This is the thing. This is the cake right here. This is what we're looking for. So now, here's a really cool thing we could do. We could do deep sky image annotation. And now we could even tell it to center it against that target. See that? We're now centering the target. So it's going to automatically re-aim the telescope and we can see a 3D thingy here. This is the telescope basically in my backyard is pointing at this angle. If I look out my back window, this is exactly what I would see. I'd be facing south and I'd see this thing pointing up in the east direction. And so now it's going to recenter it. Or it's going to pretend to recenter it. Maybe it's not really going to center it. You know what? We're going to do this properly. Plate solve and resync. I hope this works. Ah, Stellarium is crashed. So when I first set up Stellarium on this computer, I installed it with a different set of plugins than what I would be using now. And so I basically destabilized Stellarium and I just didn't feel like reconfiguring it. So I'm leaving it alone for now. But yeah, at some point, I'm going to have to do the right thing. Okay, so we just want to get this in the center. Now, there are better applications to do what I'm trying to do, but in a nutshell, I just want to know I'm aiming at the right target. I want to automatically have that target in the center of my frame, and I really like that this app can label the files for me automatically. Beyond that, yeah, there are better ways to do this. But, you know, sometimes it's just nice, in my opinion, to keep it simple. You know, have separate applications to work through so that you can kind of like troubleshoot them. And so what's probably going to happen is while this is running, I'm going to go to the backyard after eating dinner and make some adjustments here. Because you can see right now, I don't think these stars are in focus. See, that star's got like a flat profile on it. It's a little concerning. We could do multi-star tracking, but I have doubts that this is going to be consistent. But we'll do it anyway. So now we're using auto guiding. Now we got a labeled star. And now we can go and focus on making adjustments on this side of the equation. So we can do like a 1 second exposure. We can sort of tweak it out like this maybe. Maybe it's Maybelline. And you know what we're going to do? Because of the light pollution, we're going to switch to like, I think, sulfur. We're going to take a picture of this star cluster in a narrow band filter, which blocks out the lion's share of light pollution. We just made it blurrier, and that's all right, because now we can make it unblurry. All right, we're gonna use once again. I keep using only one I remember is Pop Culture Mechanics, so I'm just testing the Stream Elements bot. I want to see if this thing works. Yeah, it only works when I click on live. I don't really have an answer to that still. Did Bone drop by? Oh yeah, Bone was here earlier. Bone's cool, yeah. But like, I literally got to click here. So look, when I typed in Pop Culture Mechanic, you see nothing. But if I click on live chat, suddenly I can see him. So maybe I have to change the setting from the YouTube chat settings to make it automatically show all of the messages. Because or maybe there's a way for me to tell, wait, maybe I got an idea. Maybe I can make this into a moderator. Does that work? Can I make Stream Elements bot into a moderator? Will that make it like a priority chat? I feel like that's like a really bad security thing to make the Stream Elements bot into. No, like, see, it still doesn't work. So let's see here. We're gonna. It worked. Okay, we're gonna try that again. Yeah, Buggy's Crafting was driving her husband to work. Okay, we fixed it. We finally got it. Lady Mystic, I got great news. I know last week when I first made you mod, I told you don't have to be responsible. I mean, we know you're responsible as a human being, but you know, I didn't want you to feel responsible. But I got great news, Lady Mist. As long as I do my part, which is basically to add. Oh crap! Whoops! I gotta fix something real quick. So you know what? You know why this isn't working right? You know why the auto guiding ain't working? It's because I had it set for lunar tracking. So in other words, it's trying to counter the movement of the moon. It wasn't doing that, you know, it wasn't doing the thing. So we just fixed that now. Oh boy. I think I gummied it up a little bit. I mean, I think it's mostly good. But yeah, so Lady Mist, as I was saying, all I have to do is add commands, and any one of us, you, me, or anyone here, basically, I think even people in the chat, not necessarily just us moderators, but can simply type in these short commands. So, for example, you saw how on my second monitor, I typed in !pop, !Pacific. So my responsibility will be to add all of the major people, you know, to this. And if you have any suggestions down the road, or you have a preferred shortcut for an individual channel name that you find easy to type, let me know. But also it makes it easier for me to share the names out so that, you know, I don't have to count on everyone else to do it. You know, it makes it easier for everyone involved. But my goal is to have like all of the cool channels programmed in here so that we can simply type in a little command and then we get an entire link. You know, we can maybe do like Pacific Twitter or P-Twit. I don't know, we'll figure out some abbreviation, but I want to do that for, you know, everyone. And just these two I remember: pop culture, Pacific. I think Loki is Loki. Like, if we ever want to shout out Loki, or if I ever, like, mention Loki's channel. See, there we go. See, Loki there, you know. So, maybe I'll add the Twitter and the YouTube to each of these people. But that's kind of like something that I'm glad that I just overcame that minor issue. Uh-oh. The motorized focus is doing that thing it does when it doesn't want to respond to inputs for, like, extended periods of time. Like, you'll literally click on the button, and it'll make me wait, like, freaking 2 minutes, a minute, before I can click on it again. And usually what this means is I have to go outside and unplug it and plug it back in. So that kind of sucks. But I'm going to leave it alone now because I think that's my signal to go eat dinner. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. I hope that your Friday is fantastic tomorrow. And I can't think of what else I was going to say beyond that. Oh, did it work? No, it did not. I was looking at my top monitor. Like, see, like, it's still gray. But yeah, I got to go eat my dinner now and try to get myself mentally prepared for my haircut tomorrow. Well, I mean, that's easy. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. For anybody watching on the replay, if you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. Please like and subscribe. And for now, we shall end transmission. I do want to give a shout out to Caleb Reynolds. He's got a pretty cool channel. We got, you know, Lady Miss. We got David Glenn. James dropped by. We had the Disney Sheep Herder. Do we have him in the commands? Let's try that out real quick. I'm just guessing here. I don't even know. I might have to, yeah, I'll probably have to add Disney Sheep Herder. I just wanted to see if that would work. But anyway, in due time, we'll have everyone in the chat who has the channel. We will have them in the list of commands. And with that being said, once again, we're really going to end it. So yeah, thanks again. You all have a good night.